So after my last video where I featured some Japanese pliers, one of my viewers came back and said, "Hey, why don't you just go get some American-made high-quality Channellock ones? They've always been good to me." And any of you that know me know that our products that we make at Dawn Equipment are 99% American made, and that making things in this country is really important to me. And it got me thinking, okay, well, let's look at some Channellock and some American made stuff. And I thought a cool video would be to compare a sort of medium price point, medium product in the ratcheting screwdriver category against an ultra premium product in the ratcheting screwdriver category. And I think the ratcheting screwdriver is one of the most useful and important products and tools that anybody's going to have. So in this video, I'm going to review the Channellock ratcheting screwdriver and the PB Swiss ratcheting screwdriver and compare and contrast them. But before I do that, I was down in the basement and I found one of these, right? I'm sure a lot of you have an automatic screwdriver sitting around on a shelf somewhere, handed down from a grandparent. I really wish this one had some markings or manufacturing labeling on it. It doesn't have anything. I would guess this one with the wood handle, the screws, the machine screws that they're using, and so on and so forth, to date from, oh, there are some markings here. Okay. What do we have here? That's the Yankee. Yep. That's a prototypical screwdriver. September 15th. Hold on, I'm going to grab a flashlight quick. See if we can get any more information off here. Have some patent information. Okay, so there doesn't appear to be a date of manufacture on here. North Brothers Manufacturing, the Yankee screwdriver. 1939. So this was made on September 15th of 1939. An exquisite device. Look at this double helix screw. So this would have been a screwdriver that you hold this bearing down here and you move it in and out and it screws, and then if you move that the other way, it goes back the other way, and if you put it in the middle position, it locks. So no, it actually doesn't lock. It only locks in one. No, I don't know. Well, anyways, this is actually a really good tool, and doesn't, leave much. But I was thinking about this and I was like, okay, well, this is a automatic screwdriver that's been around for years and years and years, since this one was made during World War II. And it has a little collet here that you would use to take the bit in and out. Look at the anti-rotation feature that they would have had at that time. It's interesting how standards evolve, because the hex bit didn't become a standard until much later. Very good tool, but what's the one thing you're not going to get out of this tool? Okay, if you are putting a lot of torque to something, it wants to drive itself away, so you can't control the torque independently from the force you're pushing in on the fastener axially. And it also requires two-handed operation. But that's all I have to say about that, because I just wanted to put some historical context around the ratcheting screwdriver. It's been an incredibly useful tool and something that people have been trying to solve for a long time. But I digress. So I picked up this on Amazon, the Channellock ratcheting screwdriver. And the operation of all these products is about the same. You have what looks to be 36 teeth. Well, let's actually find that out quick here. Let's put this in here. Yeah. That here. We'll use one of these indicators as a marker. Those are roughly aligned. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this is either 24 or 28 teeth. I'd probably go with 24. Okay. This is a really good tool. You flip it the other way to reverse, and in the center position it's locked. I've actually used this tool several times. And you have a little magnet that sticks this cap on. You take it out and you've got a nice little selection of double-ended bits. Take them out. They have a ball detent on them. Stick in. Looks like you've got a Phillips 2, a Phillips 1, a Phillips 3.
You are a tomboy?
A Torx 20, a Torx T25, a flathead 4. Nice little selection of these, okay? So that sticks in there.
Yep.
You know, the theme of this video is better, right? Like we fantasize and we buy these ultra premium tools, and we have this perception that the more expensive the tool, the better it is. And, you know, largely that's the case. This Channellock ratcheting screwdriver is actually an extremely good device. The thing I'll say about it is that it has a very, very light amount of drag on the ratchet, okay? Now we'll go over to the PB Swiss. What's the difference between this PB Swiss that probably cost, I think, around $90 and this Channellock that cost about $24 with a bit selection in it? What is really the difference? The operation is the same. You've got the selector. You have a very nicely etched little set of arrows right here that indicates which direction it's going. You can hear the ratcheting mechanism. Let's listen to the ratcheting mechanism here. Go back over here. So the first area where I'm going to say, okay, I can feel the quality of this tool at this higher price point, the weight. okay? It's obviously got a much thicker gauge of the wall thickness of this metal tube. It's likely solid, and then you have the magnet in the end. Like all the PB Swiss stuff, very high quality, very strong magnet. But I believe this to be a solid component with some really nice turning here. It feels heavier. It feels higher quality. Like all the PB Swiss stuff, the handle material, the Swiss grip handle material is really, really nice. I love the hand feel. The gear mechanism feels more precise, but the way that I'm really assessing the quality of these two objects is the feel and the weight, but also the amount of slop. So when I grab this end, the screwdriver end, and I am working it back and forth because we have a rotating mechanism inside of here and we have bearing surfaces, very little play. When I go into the channel lock, it has more play to it. Everything's a little bit sloppier. But in the real world, I have to say, this one has a lighter back drag, okay? Which is a good thing in a ratcheting screwdriver, because when you're doing one-handed operation, it's less prone to unscrewing when you're screwing, right? That's why these products are better than this product. This product cannot be used in one-handed operation. These products can be used in one-handed operation, okay? So my guess, this is a brand new tool, my guess, and I have to say on PB Swiss's account, the fit and finish is unbelievable. Okay, you have the weight and the kind of perception of increased ruggedness in the metal end of the screwdriver, but that also is translating into a bigger diameter here. So if I compare the diameter of these two, let's just do that. I'm gonna stick this in here, and then I'm gonna stick it in here. Look at the difference in the diameter of these two. Okay, well, the PB Swiss is heavier, it's nicer material, it's bigger diameter, but that bigger diameter that you're paying for and makes it stronger also is gonna keep you from getting into smaller diameter recessed holes. So there's more holes. Like, that's the main problem with a screwdriver like this, as opposed to a standard bladed screwdriver, is when you're getting into a recessed hole, this adds to the diameter, and there's going to be a certain number of recessed holes in appliances and electronics that you're not going to be able to fit into with that. So I have to say also, this magnet mechanism here, this is really nice for the price point you're getting it, okay? Very light feel. What I would love to do is to destructively test these on torque, okay? And see how much torque these things can take before breaking them. My guess is that the PB Swiss is going to be much higher, and that the quality of the gear mechanism and the pawls inside of here is going to be much, much, much higher, okay? But why would I get one versus the other, okay? All right, maybe you're a fan of quality hand tools, and PB Swiss in particular, and you want this just because it's such a beautiful object, okay? But for the vast majority of you, you don't need this. This is a better device for you. This is a very nicely engineered device at its price point. And I have to say, it's also made in Canada, so it is North American made. It has storage for the bits, but that's a different use case, okay? This right here is the kind of screwdriver you're gonna leave laying around the house for onesie, twosie, odd jobs around the house, okay? Nice to have a little bit selection. You don't have to go hunting for bits. It's just there. Oh, you need to tighten a hinge. You need to do something like that. You've got your bits right there. Well, for me, in my professional life, I keep all this stuff in one place. Like most of you, I keep my tools in a toolbox. I've got a large number of bits that I'm selecting from. I'm storing my bits separately. I don't need to keep my bits stored in the tool because my bits are right next to the tool in a toolbox. And I'm going to use something like this at the office to adjust manual overrides on hydraulic valves, to tighten small fasteners, so on and so forth, everything like that. The tool, the bits, and potentially even the socket adapters that I'm going to use this with are going to be in the same place as the tool. So I'm not really that focused on the tool storage, right? I'm going to be really focused on the feel and what happens to this grip in oil because I'm around hydraulic oil all the time. And I like these Swiss grips a lot better than these sort of smooth materials. And I'll tell you what, this type of plastic overmolding, soft durometer overmolding that you see on this one right here, I've seen these typically degrade in mineral oil and other hydraulic oils really quickly. Whereas my experience with this material is that it doesn't. But the general idea of is better, right? Is the more expensive tool the better tool? I believe the more expensive tool is the higher quality tool. I don't believe it's always the better tool, and that this is really a tool for professional use. And the vast majority of people in the world are not going to be using these things in professional use. This is something, the great use case of a product like this is that it's something that you keep around the house and it's just handy. This is a professional tool. And I believe that with increased use, the back drag is going to become slightly looser and minimized. If essentially the things, when we talked about the slop and the end play in this, okay, the things that are making this tool feel precise, have very little slop and play in it, are in essence the same thing that's causing the back drag to be slightly higher. And it's by no means very high. It's totally acceptable because the fits are, the tightness of the fits that are controlling that end play are essentially the same things that are producing slightly increased friction. And I think that this will probably bed in over time. Again, this is the PB Swiss PB8510R, the 100 millimeter length. Very, very nice materials. But again, on Channellock's behalf, this is a very, very nicely made tool in the category at a very reasonable price that's simply targeted at a non-professional user. So that's the end of my video.